Alright, here we go once again into the pocket dimension where we will be painting all the things. Yes, let's paint all the things tonight with me, JP Gotrokkits, right here in the pocket dimension. Because, of course, tonight's stream is going to be a monthly monster. This month's is the Frost Salamander from Wizkids, from their Nolzur's line of minis. Pre-painted, or not pre-painted, pre-primed and inexpensive. That's the great thing about the Nolzur's figures, is they are inexpensive and they're primed already. They're easy to get out of the box and start painting. They do well with the speed paint stuff. If you're into the speed paints, they really do well with that. That light gray primer that they have on them it's really friendly for that. And if you really want to treat and you want to find out what kind of detail those figures really have, throw them in some LA's Totally Awesome, or some Simple Green, or some Castrol Super Clean, whichever you want. And yeah, strip that primer right off and you'll see what they really look like underneath. So, alright, hopefully everybody is warm and well fed. I worked outside today personally. It was actually a beautiful day when the sun came out. It was a little chilly this morning, but that went away. So I worked outside and had a nice, I don't want to say leisurely day, because it was work. It was what it was, but it wasn't difficult. I had it in mind what I wanted to do, and I did it, and I'm pretty happy with the results that I had today. Nice customers, that always helps. So, nice customers. I had the plan in my head, what I wanted to do. I did it. I didn't have to do really too many difficult maneuvers to get the job done, so that was good. I mean, it was just a nice day at work today, I gotta say. Well, since I had a nice day at work, let's have a nice day at play today. What do you say? Let's go ahead and finish up this Frost Salamander. Looks like he's caught himself on an ice floe today, as you do when you are a Frost Salamander. I painted up a little bit of some texture there on the base to make it look sort of like water. So probably throw a little gloss coat on that when we're done. And then, we'll go ahead and finish up his teeth. I gave them a let's finish up the inside of his mouth though too. So we'll do that. And we're going to use Army Painter Pixie Pink to finish up the inside of his mouth. And yeah. So here we are. Last show of the season tonight. Last show of the season, last show of the year, last stream of the year. Final stream, folks. Forever? No, not forever. Forever ever? No, not forever ever, donkey. Just for the year. I'm going to take a couple, 2 or 3 weeks off and fall back, regroup. So that's the plan here. Fall back, regroup. Getting some ketchup water there, which is the way the old Army Painter war paints would do. So we'll just pretend like that never happened. They would put a little bit extra acrylic medium in there just to keep it from uh, drying out really on the shelf. Nobody knows how long. Once you send a product to the store, nobody knows how long it's going to be there. So I've mixed this ketchup water in there a little too much, so I don't think I'm ever going to get a good mix unless this just separates by itself. And we'll dump it out at that point. So just clear that off of there. But it looks kind of like a cold pink. Oh, look. Oh, listen. Listen. There is a mixing ball in here, so I have used this before. So that was just some of the separation because it had been sitting there and everything had settled apart. So yes, so that is part of why I'm going to be taking a little time off from the channel. I mean, other than it's just a tradition here, right? You know, the half of December and a little bit into January, I usually take the time off from the channel, fall back, regroup, do some things I need to do. Everybody needs a break. As much as I enjoy this, I do need a little break from it. And granted, there were some months that I had to work out of town and I was away from the channel, but I would have much rather been here on a Tuesday or a Thursday evening than slaving for the man, as the song says. Slaving for the clown. Usually McDonald's jobs take me out of town. Yeah. So this past Wednesday, that kind of happened, and last Wednesday. I always get heavy work days on Wednesdays, unfortunately. Actually, yesterday, was an emergency service call. So I had to go and take care of that one. That wasn't a McDonald's, it was a tire place. So now there's no texture necessarily right here, so I'm just going to go ahead and paint that in. It's okay to paint the texture in. Just because it's not there on the figure doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't exist. You can install texture if you want to. So the other thing that I hope to have resolved by the time I start streaming again. I say we because I'm including you, dear viewer. Those of you who have subscribed, those of you who follow, those of you who come here every week and brighten my day and hang out with me while I paint. Those of you who have joined the Discord and share your work. I really do appreciate you all being there. It is a form of support, just showing up. It gives a streamer reason to stream. So, streaming to only one person or having a stream that just doesn't have anybody show up, sometimes it's a little disheartening. Of course, I'm sure that you can imagine that. Or maybe you can't. Maybe you're just automatically popular with everybody. Maybe you're just popular. You're going to be popular. Yeah, I'll never do that again. So. So, there we go. Maybe add a little ivory to this pink, and we'll just go back in and brighten it up just a touch. White, I don't know, white would desaturate it. White would take it cold. And that's okay. Taking it towards the cold end of the spectrum there's nothing wrong with that. Let's go ahead and let's try a little pale yellow instead of ivory. Ivory is just kind of an old hack, right? So let's try some pale yellow. See what that does to it. And this is the Monument Hobbies Pro Acryl Pale Yellow. And I bought the alternate tops because I don't like the school glue mustard ketchup tops that they have. I just not a fan. But the only real problem with that is that I don't feel comfortable putting those flip top bottles in a go bag. So in my travel kit. So I'm just going to hit a few high spots here with this yellow-eyed pink. This pink that I've just went with a little more highlight color to it. And just kind of hit the high points where that other pink was. So when I say hit the high points where the other pink was, what I'm talking about is, so I lay down a line of pink, right, like this, right. So let's say that's the highlight I'm adding in with pink, right. I know that's not covering very well, right. So that's the surface, right. So let's say that's the surface. Well, when I do the next highlight with this color that I mixed up, this yellow and pink right here, this pale yellow and pink, what I'm doing is I don't want to go over that whole same surface. I want to actually go into the highest point on that highlight right there. So we're building that highlight up from the mid-tone to the highlight, and then you can even take it a little bit higher. So let's just mix up a little more yellow into the pink a little bit here. We'll just take that yellow, now it's really pale, and then we just go a little bit, about a third in. So a third and a third, basically you're looking at thirds. So that's kind of the thing. So then you just go right there. There's a little too much water there, but you get the idea. I hope. Hopefully that illustrates what we're doing here, what I do when I go back over from one highlight to the next, to the next. That's how I like to highlight. Basically, you're stepping up in thirds and you're cutting that surface into thirds. So then we just do a little boop. We don't go along the whole thing. We just kind of spotlight, kind of highlight. highlight some of the very tippy top tip edges of that surface. Yeah. And let's put a little dot of black way back there in the very furthest part back of his mouth there, where he's gonna swallow all our brave adventurers. They're just gonna go right down his gullet. So we'll put a little dab of black back there just to drive the point home. Not even that you can necessarily see it back there, but we're going to put it right back there. It doesn't really show where his esophagus really is, but we're going to say it's right here underneath this fold. We're going to say that's his esophagus right there. Doesn't really show a tongue here. It's just a gaping maw surrounded by teeth. Yeah, we're just building up some texture in there, just something to kind of get the idea that there's something going on in there other than just a big bunch of nothing, you know. There's structures, there's anatomy in his mouth there. So, all right, let's see now. Yellowed bone. I was going to use yellowed bone right here. Here it is. I keep on knocking it off the table with my big dumb elbow. So Reaper Yellow Bone 09143. And that's going to go on his teeth, which I've already pre-shaded with oak brown. I kind of wanted to give a more tusky look to this. Sort of a fella here. Maybe there's some sort of northern dwelling hunting tribes that go after this guy for his teeth, you know? That's a thought, right? I mean, that's, again, telling stories through color, right? Tell the story to yourself. What is this? Where does this guy live? You know? Now, while the packaging on this figure says Frost Salamander, there's nothing that said that I had to paint him up as though he lived in a frosty environment. I could have painted him up as any old sort of mud puppy, you know. There's nothing that said I had to do it like this. But considering this is the wintertime, the environment is inspiring me. So I am being inspired by my environment. That's okay too. In fact, I picked up some figures just the other day with winter as a theme. So maybe next month's monthly monster, maybe the 2025 first monthly monster will be an ice troll. I don't know. It's a thought. This year's inaugural monthly monster, I believe. Well, I had two of them really. One was the Umber Hulk, and that went out to Quantum Reveries. And if you're here on Twitch, give old Quantum Reveries a follow. And if you are on YouTube, well, you don't know who that is, unfortunately. But you may have a Instagram account. So check out Quantum Reveries on Instagram if you're not joining us here on Twitch. Give him a follow. Super nice guy. I know there is an ad break coming. You don't have to put it up there and take up the whole thing there. Again, I'm going to be working on the quality of light going forward. So put a little spotlight in his eyes here. Yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. All right, now we've just gone up to the ivory. Let's go ahead and take it on up to. Let's mix in some of this ivory with some of this pale yellow. I think these are probably too close in value, so it's not going to be a good highlight. No, not a good highlight. So let's go ahead and add some cool white. Actually, this is just regular white, isn't the cold white. And so we'll take it up a couple of notches with the cold white. With the white. This is not cold white. This is the Vallejo model color white, which I know a lot of people are feeling like Vallejo is a naughty word nowadays. But it's what I have, so I'm using it. I'm sure those situations will be resolved soon enough. So what was funny was you would think that the organizer of that strike would actually ask you to boycott the product, but I actually was reading where he did not. He actually said don't worry about boycotting. We would really want you to boycott the product. But some content creators are calling for a boycott. But again, these situations have a way of getting worked out. So it should be fairly temporary. But that's the news I read about the whole thing. Because that's what I was wondering. I was wondering if they were, if the strike leaders were calling for a boycott of the product, and they weren't. They weren't. So be like Artax. Don't be like Artax and give in to the negativity. Go on doing what you're doing. I'm sure they'll come up with an equitable solution to their situation soon enough. So we're going with a little bit more warmth into the teeth to kind of counteract the cold of the blues and the purples. Even though we're using white here, white is a fairly cool color. It's thin enough to, and I've got a little bit of that yellow mixed into it, so it's thin enough to let that tan color show through. So there's some parting lines on the teeth. But again, these are fairly inexpensive figures. And I just want to show you that just because there are issues, there are imperfections with these figures, don't let it get in the way of you having a good time painting them. So you can get as much done as you want, and of course I'm just trying to get these out the door. So I got most of the mold lines off, I think. So all right, we're going to do his claws now. Oh, let's see. I've got a charcoal. Here it is, charcoal gray. This is the Vallejo Extra Opaque Heavy Charcoal, which is a very, very, very dark gray. But it's a nice color to build up dark claws with. And it's heavy because it's got extra pigment in it. That's why they call it heavy. And we'll put just a smidgen of Cuttlefish Colors Merlin's Magic Medium in there just to keep it wet on the palette. There we go. That way we can mix it in as we need to. As I need to. As I need to. I say we. I don't know why I say we so much. Probably because I'm here with you all. It's just my thing. What can I say? I mean, it could be that I have a mouse in my pocket. You don't know. Who is this we? Do you have a mouse in your pocket? It's my friend's dad used to say because I'd say we. When I was really talking about I. It's always been kind of a weird word whisker for me. I had to clean up around these toes a little bit before I finished the basing. Three toes there, I guess. Three toes. Three toes on the back feet. Nope, there are four toes. One was hiding out. Almost like it was painted white. Or light gray, and it was blended into the base colors. So. Now, while I do normally go till 11 o'clock, if we get finished up early tonight, I do not have a problem finishing. Nobody has ever complained about finishing up early when it comes to these kinds of things. It gives us a chance to go and see somebody else who's streaming tonight as well with the raid function. YouTube, you need to get on that and get that raid function going on. Your streaming communities, your streaming would take off quickly. You got a lot of people that live stream on YouTube because they don't know. Maybe they just don't know. Maybe they're looking for more, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Discoverability is better over there. Search terms, SEO. SEO is SEO is the word I'm looking for. So YouTube has better SEO. but they don't have a community building tool. And that is something that Twitch and Kick. What was the other one? Was there another one called Rain, maybe? I don't know. Everybody's trying to do the same thing, and there's only the market can get a little crowded, you know. So now, class, what's the thing that I'm doing here that I should never really be doing? That's putting wet paint past dry paint. So I've already got a few little dots of paint on places that I don't want it. But part of that is a problem because of the sculpt. Yeah. Some of these sculpts that they come up with, they're hard to get to places, and because the figure is already assembled, you can't really do it before you put it together. You can't say, oh well, that's going to be a difficult place to reach to paint. So let me paint that now. Let me do a sub-assembly. No, you can't do it with these. So that is a problem with the Wizkids figures. Of course, they've got their frameworks, which personally I think their frameworks are far overpriced for what they are. Far, far, far overpriced. $10 for $50. Who do you think you are, Games Workshop? Whereas I can go to Warlord Games and get a box of 28 orcs for their Warlords of Erewhon game. Well, really, they're generic orcs. Orcs are generic, if you ask me, anyhow. But the Warlords of Erewhon orcs that Warlord Games has, they might have sent them over to the Skytrek side of their business, though. I don't know. Anyway, what I'm getting at is they're kind of generic. They'd work for just about anything. They're not the big green ape orcs from Workshop. They're more like the Tolkien orcs, which is pretty cool. Because a lot of people have aped that Workshop style and ignored the more realistic sort of Tolkienish orcs, Tolkien-esque orcs. Workshop has some of those too, but the Warlord Games orcs remind me of some of the old artwork for the Middle Earth role playing system. That was done by the artwork was done by a man named Angus McBride, and if you ever look up, if you ever want to check out some really great artwork, especially his orcs, man, they were beautiful. I mean, as beautiful orcs as orcs can be, right? Angus McBride was the gentleman's name. He's long since passed away. So, but Angus McBride also did a lot of historical stuff. Another Middle Earth artist that I really enjoyed was a guy named his last name was Barrett, I think. And it's hard to find his stuff. I think he's long since shuffled off the mortal coil as well. But his stuff is difficult to find. I'd like to find a place that does prints of his, but can't find it. Hey Miar, how's it going? Good to see you again, man. How's things going today? Gonna finish up this figure tonight, I think. So working on the claws, did the mouth and the teeth. Finished that up from the other night. Got started there. So we're gonna get this fella out the door tonight. Or at least find out who gets to adopt him. A bad day. I think I got my lead talking real about me. Oh. Well. Well, that's office politics for you, man. I'm not in the office enough to know. I'm usually out in the truck going to service calls. I have a surprisingly drama-free workplace. The worst part is just sometimes not knowing if I've got to be out of town on short notice. That's probably the worst part of it. But it is what it is, right? I meant bad. Oh, talking bad about you. Yeah, I kind of thought that's what you meant. Maybe real bad about you. Yeah, that's disconcerting, especially as you were saying your company's having troubles. So, but yeah, I saw those orcs that you put in the Discord um, this week. Those are you're you're blending on those, just absolutely amazing. I like how they're all different too. So you're kind of experimenting with them, trying different things. I really appreciate that. I like that. Practice outside the norm. Learned a lot. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, you are absolutely you did some really incredible work there. Much better than me. I should be watching you, picking up tips and tricks. You know it. Did you did you brush blend all that, or were you using airbrush, or because I think you use airbrush quite a bit, don't you? Brush only. Wow. Yes, Miar, it really is that very good. Hey Patty, how you doing out there in the YouTube land? Patty's Parlor is over in the YouTube side of things, holding it down on the legacy tech side of things. Great to see you, Pat. How you doing tonight, buddy? How was work today? I'm finishing up this frost salamander as it is wintertime. I thought we'd keep it frosty, so be a little inspired by the season here. What am I working on tonight? I'm working on the Wizkids Frost Salamander, right? So I'm just painting in his toenails here. And yeah, so I tried to make it look like he was sort of on a little ice floe or a little shelf of ice sticking out here. So working on a car wash today. Wow. Yeah, very busy. Well, did you have to? Was it shut down or was it still active? That was the. I worked on a car wash one time, but it was being built. It was under construction, so that was a lot easier than trying to accommodate people coming in and going out. So, oh well, you're welcome there, Miar. I'm glad you appreciate it coming from me, but I mean, I'm I mean, compared to what you posted in the Discord, what was that? Tuesday night. Uh, um, wow, your work is amazing, man. Let's see. So here we go. Let's see. Yeah, probably lots of GFI circuits in the car wash there, Pat. Right? No doubt. Which I will be taking a little break here from streaming for the next 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks, something like that, whatever. I'll start when I want to start. You can't make me do anything. No. It'll be after New Year's Day, obviously. Maybe the week following New Year's. Maybe not that Thursday, but maybe the following Tuesday. But I've got some things planned. One of them is going to be reworking the pocket dimension here. The other thing is going to be catching up on my CEU hours for the year so that I can renew my electric license. So that's important. And then after I renew it this year, I'm going to fill out a reciprocity uh, form for the adjoining state, the next state over, because our main guy that was working over there was the guy that broke his leg back in, what was that, October? November, I mean. October, November. So, all right. Building it from the ground up. Okay, yeah, so that is pretty busy. They probably want it done and done now. But yeah, that's I've worked. We did one years ago. It's only as busy as you let it be. I mean, if you're falling behind, then you're going to be real busy. But if you can keep a good pace, no, you don't have to kill yourself. But you're out there in the northwest zone there, and you're probably getting hit with all the cold, cold northern air coming down. Here, cold days, 15, 20 degrees. Up there, you know, you guys button your top button when it gets to -3, right? All right, so let's use some of this Necromancer cloak here as our first highlight on these claws here. Working on top of all the other trades too. GC is trying all these inspections done. Dude is putting walls in. Hasn't gotten too cold yet. That's good. Yeah, that's the one thing about some of these GCs. They got to take a Valium or something, man, because they want to get everything done, and they start putting people into really dangerous positions when you've got trades working over top of each other, and you got to have this done, and you don't want to keep the other trades waiting, but at the same time, you got to be able to do what you're doing the right way. So either the GC is a knob or he's getting pushed from above, and somebody just needs to cool it. Quite honestly, the job's going to get done. I mean, sometimes a job will get started late, and if it's not your trade's fault, if it's not your fault, let them eat it, man. Let them just, you know, they can sit and spin, as Fonzie used to say. Sit on it, hey. Right, so but I'm old salty. Been in the trade for over 35 years, so I don't want to say I've seen it all, but I've seen quite a bit, and I don't have time for other people's. Like I was saying to Miar, you know, don't bring no drama in this office here. I'm not really ever in an office. Well, I did some BS this week. That's billing and scheduling, by the way. So I had to be in the office for that, but that's no big deal. That just is making out bills of sales and tickets and mailing things off to customers. So right, you like that, Yar? Billing and scheduling. BS. Billing and scheduling. I told the secretary, as much as I, just sitting there and figuring up things and putting all the percentages in, and you get your materials at a near wholesale price, and then you have to make your markups on them and everything. And then you have to add sales tax in. Yep, sales tax, that's right. Sales tax on materials. And, you know. The markup percentage, which brings it up to about what you'd pay if you went to a big box store from our wholesale price. And then sales tax and all that stuff. Yeah, it's just I told the secretary I'd rather light my head on fire than do billing and scheduling. Scheduling is tough too, because you know, you might think it's one thing and you go out and you get involved with it and then you're not able to get to the next thing you've scheduled for the day. So that's never good. It is what it is, right? So let's see. Medium gray. Let's go with, let's mix in some sky gray into this. We'll use some Vallejo model color sky gray. And then we'll do some highlights on these claws some more. We're just working these highlights on these claws up, so we got kind of a, about a half shade up from here to there, right? So this was Necromancer, no, this is Heavy Charcoal from Vallejo Model Colors. This is Necromancer Cloak from Army Painter. So this is a little bit of a darker gray with a little blue to it. This is a slightly warmer gray, but it's gray, so you know, not too bad against that. It's just another dark gray, and I think there might be too much. The value might be too similar. So we're gonna go up. We're gonna take that up to another more of a mid-tone gray. Right here, can't stay. Want to give them a love and hit that like button. Got to help make dinner. Well, that's great. You should help make dinner. There, Pat. Definitely. Thank you for the like. Thanks for the support over here on the YouTube side of things. Appreciate that and appreciate the like. And also the shares of the tweets going out. Appreciate that. That's a big help. I don't know if it'll ever get traction, but hey, it's out there if people are looking for it. If people want to join in, that's great. And if they miss out, well, they just don't know what they're missing out on, right? So, well, go help make dinner, and then I hope Kitty allows you to help eat dinner too. I mean, that'd be pretty cruel to make you help make it and then not allow to eat it. So have a good night there, Pat, and all my greetings to your family. So we're doing the tops and the edgy bits with this little kind of a mid-tone between this tone and this gray here. It just needs to stand out a little bit more. So we're going to do that. So do I have all the toes done? This little piggy goes to market. This little pig has roast beef. This little piggy has none. Hey, Dollar Dylan. Hey, great to see you again. Subscribed at Tier 1. They've subscribed for 5 months. Thanks for the re-up on the subscription. So I am painting the Frost Salamander here from Nolzur's. by Wizkids. So we're going to be finishing this up tonight, and we'll be doing the drawing as well. So textured up his base a little bit to try to make it look like he's kind of on a little ice flow in the water. Ice. I was a little concerned about the ice, but it does get darker as you get deeper, so I was mixing in dark blues to light blues, a little bit of turquoise in there. So I think I did that ice flow pretty well. He's cool. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Yes. Well, you know, the great thing about a monster like this is you could actually use it at different scales. So you don't have to necessarily just use it with your 28 millimeter scale figures. You could actually use this as a kaiju, as a giant critter. And let me just show you how. Now I already put my giant ape back in the display cabinet. He's just kind of hanging out there until I get a chance to paint him. But let me show you something cool. All right. So let's say your ships are going off to some far off Arctic expedition. So you could have him attack your ships. Roar, roar. You know, little Ray Harryhausen for you there, right? So that'd be pretty wild. And of course, the way I did the base, that's very fitting, right? So that would be a way to do things, right? Or, of course, you've got... oh, here we go. This one's together. Oh, here's one. Okay. Then you got your giant fighting robots, right? So that's a 10 millimeter scale figure, right? So... Ba-da-dun, da-da-dun, da-da-dun, dun, dun, da-da-dun. Little Godzilla for you there. That's what really happened to the Titanic. Yes, exactly. So there's different things you can do. Don't get you don't have to be roped into what I call the fallacy of scale, right? So depending on the scale that you're working at, this monster could be compared to the hero, just that big, you know, it's still pretty imposing. Or it could be compared to, as I already showed, something much larger. So there's a lot of different ways to play with your toys. Don't become a slave to the way somebody else is telling you how to play. So don't get sucked into that that Games Workshop style mentality where you can only use their toys the way they tell you you can use them. The word these days is miniatures agnostic, right? So play with your toys, use them in the games that you want to play, and don't worry about what somebody else is saying. Make your hobby your own. Your hobby is your hobby, and the way you engage with it is for you. There's no overarching rule or governing committee that is going to come in and tell you you're having fun the wrong way. Because there is no code book on having fun. So enjoy your toys. Enjoy painting. Enjoy building, painting, and playing. Speaking of building, painting, and playing, keep your eyes peeled for the Build, Paint, Play Season 6 starting up in January over here on YouTube. So check out Build, Paint, Play. Catch a couple of the VOD episodes. Click the bell icon so that you get your notifications and join the discussion over at Build, Paint, Play. If you have a good time here, I think you'd really have a great time over there. That's my thought. That's my recommendation. You don't have to do that. But I think you would enjoy some of the insights as far as there's a lot of people that are in the industry that are interviewed. There's painters, photographers, writers. Just last week, they interviewed Graham McNeil, who, if that name sounds familiar, he used to work at Workshop and wrote the third edition Orcs Codex, I think, or was that Phil Kelly? Maybe he did the second edition. He might have done second edition. Either way, he's been around it a while. But that was a very interesting interview. Don't listen to the people who tell me how to play with myself. Well, sometimes you have to play solo there, Dollar Dylan. I've played Warhammer solo, believe it or not. It can be done. And it's actually pretty fun. The mentality you have to do it, though, is you have to remember that when you switch sides, you want to give the other side the worst choice, or give it you have to forget about playing the other side when you're switching side from table side to table side. All right, so his toenails are done. We painted his toenails. We've got his teeth done. Got his eyes done. I think I'm going to get just a little bit of gray in a couple places. This blue-gray where I kind of scraped off a couple of pesky mold lines. I'd like to just kind of repair it there. And then we're going to work on the base some more. We're going to get some texture on this base. Because here in the pocket dimension, here at Paint All the Things, we're all about the base. All your base belong to us. Right? And don't forget that even though I'm going to be taking a little break between now and, oh, let's say the second week of January. There will be a 3-year stream anniversary in January because I started my stream in January 3 years ago coming up. So we'll do that, and there are all sorts of wonderful prizes to give away. We will be doing a monthly monster that day. It will be on a Saturday. It will be a long day, as is usual for the stream anniversary streams. So definitely keep an eye out for that announcement when that's going to be. Love to have you all there. Because you all are who makes this channel happen. Well, okay, I made the channel happen, and I'd probably do. I had my own reasons for starting it, but which was mostly to help me get through my backlog of things. But it was also, well, so I thought, well, I could just sit here and listen to other people and watch them, or I figured I could throw my hat into the ring and do some streamering and it's been pretty neat. I've got to say, I've really enjoyed it. What have I learned over 3 years? Well, I don't know. One thing I have learned is that this light, probably I should have replaced it a long time ago. Because I did have 2 lights. Now I'm down to 1. And it's awful. So I've been painting mostly with 1 light, and it's just casting all sorts of horrible hard light, harsh shadows. So that is definitely one thing. Oh, there's probably all sorts of other things. Maybe I'll do a little talk about that on the stream anniversary. Maybe we'll set the painting aside for a minute and we'll talk about the things that I've learned over 3 years. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. We'll just have to see where that day takes us. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of gloss varnish, and I'm going to varnish the seascape side of his base. Now, I could probably leave it like this, and it looks just fine, and if I say it's snowy, it's white, and it probably would be just plenty good, right? Not a problem. Hey, it's a frost critter. He's on some ice. It's got a rime of snow on it. It's maybe compact and thin. It looks okay, but we're going to punch it up. We're going to be like Emile Lagasse. We're going to, bam, we're going to punch it up. All right, so let's get some gloss varnish out here. Good amount here. And we are going to add it to the base. So we'll pick up the old gloss varnish here. Shaking the gloss varnish does tend to add a lot of bubbles into it, but that's okay. You get it up on your brush, and once you start working it out, those bubbles can tend to go away. So it's just, so most of these varnishes, this acrylic gloss varnish, most of it is pretty much just, it's practically just paint without pigment in it. You've heard of an eyes with, what's it? Billy Idol saying eyes without a face. Well, this is paint without a color. So it'll dry pretty quickly, and after it dries, we'll do another layer. Maybe a couple of layers, get it nice and nice and super duper shiny. Because it's not, if it's not super duper, then why even bother? You can do super, or you can do duper. But the real pros make it super duper. So, what are we going to use for snow? Well, that's a good question. Dun dun dun. We have two products here, and we'll add a little bit of paint to the mixture as well. So, are you hey Yoda 151, thanks for the follow. Welcome in. So this is foam snow. That's by, Vallejo. I've had it for a while. I've got another bottle of this stuff. I hate to use a new bottle when I've got a bottle that I already started somewhere. It's kind of frustrating because I used it. Okay, I used it like 2 years ago. And it has just kind of disappeared. And of course, I've got Woodland Scenics Snow Flock, right? So soft flake snow flock. So we'll take a little bit of that out, mix it in with that foam snow. Are you sure you're not a dad? Is that what you're saying, Miar? I know. It's bad dad jokes, but you got to remember, I had a good dad. So good dads always give you the bad dad jokes. And I have to say, I did inherit my father's sense of humor. And I'm not sorry for it. I always enjoy a good pun, you know. Okay, I enjoy even a bad pun. I enjoy puns altogether. So we're going to mix a little bit of the foam snow in with a little bit of the Woodland Scenics. And we'll probably throw in a little bit of the fog gray, or maybe, we'll add a little bit of a blue gray or a grayish blue. And that just adds a little bit of dimensionality to the snow. I had a cold white. Where did it go? There it is. There's the cold white. This doesn't seem like the bottle of cold white that I had out here before. I know I've got a couple of bottles of cold white, so anyway. So we'll probably use some cold white, foam snow. We'll use some Woodland Scenics Snow Flock. And maybe even a touch of the Ice Storm Blue Gray here. But we're going to go ahead and see if this is dry enough for another. Nope, it's not quite dry enough for another coat there. But I don't want to put that on there until we've got the got that gloss finished and let that dry up. So while we're letting that dry up, let's go ahead and take a little break. Here I'm going to grab something to drink because I'm getting a little dry in the throat. Nose is starting to snuff up. So let's go ahead and take a quick little bio break. Get up and stretch our legs. Get a drink. Whatever you need to do. And I will go ahead and put the bio break plaque up. Here we go. We're going to take a little bio break. We'll be back in just a minute or two. After these messages, we'll be right back. All right. Hey, Rescued Ruckus. Thanks for stopping in. Nice to see you. How's it going? Yes. End of stream. End of year stream. So. All right. Yeah, I think it will be a happy one. We're just finishing up our monthly monster here. Not a monster of the month, but a monthly monster. So we'll do another layer of gloss coat on the seascape there that I painted in. So I just kind of free-handed that in to make it look like a little bit of chop on some water. And I probably could have used some acrylic paste really to do it really, correctly. But I didn't really have any good reason to go that far with it. It's good here. I'd have popped in earlier, but was solo parenting tonight, so my wife could go to dinner with friends. Just got the kids in bed. Well, there you go. Well, it's nice that your wife could get away and have some time with her friends. I hope you get away and have time with your friends as well. It's important for people to have friends. There's some couples you never see them out with anybody. I mean, as far as, hey, can you come out and, hey, let's get together and play a game. Come on over to my house. Oh, I can't, But that's good. I mean, you got to have that little bit of time with friends, All right, so a second layer of gloss coat on the. But that's cool. I'm glad you get the kids off to bed. Well, getting them to bed is the easy part, right? Getting them to stay in bed, that's more the tricky thing. I remember being a kid, and I remember that was going to bed. It was bedtime. Okay, we'd go to bed, and then we'd be up and down. I thought I told you when to go to bed. I did go to bed, but I needed to get this other thing. I was thirsty. I needed to use the bathroom. I wanted to get something to listen to. I wanted to get some music to listen to or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Getting the kids to bed is half the battle. Getting them to stay in the bed is a whole nother thing. Taking a break from painting for a week or so to work on taking photos of some finished projects. Excellent. Good idea. I finally got around to taking some photos the other day of things that I've had finished for a couple of months. So that was much needed. So definitely, I mean, and that's part of our hobby. Taking a break from painting to take photos. Well, are you really taking a break from painting, or are you just engaging in another aspect of the hobby overall? Because that's part of it, right? We're sharing things on Instagram or in Discords. Here we are. We're encouraging one another by showing off the things that we've done, or maybe explaining a process that we've learned or figured out how to do easier. Or maybe it's a process that our description helps somebody else crystallize in their mind how to do it, or gives them. Sometimes people don't process things the same way, so somebody could go to a class or try to learn a particular method and it doesn't gel, but maybe you just have the right way of talking about it to get them where it clicks in their mind. I know I've had that where with myself, where I didn't understand what somebody was saying, and then I saw it happen, and I saw actually application, and then maybe a little bit of a better parallelism or illustration of how to do something, and it clicked a lot easier. It was tailored more towards me, just the way somebody else was able to say it, than the person that I was learning it from. So, taking photos is not taking a break. I'm going to push back a little bit on you there, Rescue Ruckus. Taking photos of your projects isn't really taking a break from painting. It's just part of the overall hobby. So you're gonna start taking photos of things you've painted, but you're not really taking a break. I push back on you, and that's I want to be encouraging pushback. I'm not trying to be like, well, you're wrong. I just disagree that you're taking a break from painting. You are just engaging in another aspect of the overall hobby. So it's funny the way we put things. It's so funny the way sometimes we divide things up in our minds when we're talking about the different aspects of hobbying, right? Well, I'm painting this, I'm doing this other thing. Oh no, I'm not painting right now. I'm taking pictures. Well, those are one ways to describe things, and that's the way we speak English, and those are colloquialisms. But just because you are focusing on another aspect of the hobby overall, it doesn't mean that you're quitting something. Engaging another part of the hobby needed a break because of getting over analytic, hyper analytical. Yes. And rescued, that is another thing about the hobby. I know myself, sometimes I suffer from analysis paralysis. I think Adam has a really good, it's an older video about that. Analysis paralysis, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? Sometimes we get so overwhelmed with what we're doing. We're focusing more on how we're doing, the quality, as opposed to what we're doing. I've found that when I start focusing on what I'm doing, I make more progress than focusing on how I'm doing. But I'm glad that you could say, okay, I'm stressing myself out. And that's the thing. We are always our own worst critics. Absolutely. And I know where you're coming from. We are always our own worst critics. It's hard sometimes to let ourselves enjoy what we're doing when we know all the mistakes we've made. Somebody else will come along and say, wow, that looks great. And we're like, well, it really doesn't. Let me tell you about where it's all wrong. Nobody wants to hear your negativity. Nobody wants to, it's fine to say, well, these are the mistakes I made, but the people that look at it and the people that go, wow, that looks really good, they're not going to care about the mistakes you've made. They won't even notice them. They just think it looks really good. And I know that's one thing that keeps me from really doing much with competitive painting. First of all, I don't really have, I'd rather have more output. I'd rather spend 1 hour on 10 figures than 10 hours on one figure. Although I think I spent, 4 hours, 2 hours, so far 2 hours. So what is that? 8 hours on this guy. So 2, and 4 is 8. And then we're just going to finish basing him up tonight. So, 10 hours on something like this to give away as a special part of the channel. That's good. That's good. I don't, it's quality, and I know that a lot of people that have received these really enjoy putting them on display, but I would not call myself a display painter. I would not put myself in a category of competition. I mean, look what Ed over at Monster Den Minis is doing. His stuff is competition grade. So, yeah, by the way, folks, if you're not following Rescued Ruckus over on his IG page, definitely go ahead and hit up Rescued Ruckus on IG. It's actually helped me learn to take compliments from strangers about my work without wanting to point out the flaws better. Yes, very much so. Very much so. That is an important thing to learn, because it serves as a constant reminder that others don't see the little flaws I do. Exactly, exactly. Like it's, we are our own worst critics. And sometimes when we are our own worst critics, it sort of acts as a hobble, right? It doesn't allow us to make the progress that we want to make because we're focusing on those problems. We're focusing on our mistakes. Now, we do need to acknowledge mistakes in life or work or relationships or whatever. Um, Certainly, there are acknowledging mistakes is how we improve, right? We see the problems and we come up with ways to fix them or to improve or to work on a strength to minimize that particular mistake, right? Or that particular failing. But when it comes to the hobby, um, here we are, um, doing the thing, and the mistakes are part of the process. And when we see the mistakes, again, self critique, sometimes we're too hard on ourselves. But that critique that we have, we're doing it because we know we can do better. And we see that and we see what we need to do to improve. So, no, we don't need to be toxically positive about something. Well, it's all good. It's just all wonderful, right? Now, if you go on to somebody's Instagram page, like if you were to go to Rescued Ruckus's Instagram page, which, by the way, if you're not following Rescued Ruckus, please do so on Instagram. Um, don't go on there and pick apart his stuff. We try to be positive on Instagram, on Discord. Now, there are places and there is time and a place for critiques, but one of the rules in the art world is to never give an unsolicited critique. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't offer to critique somebody's work. Hey, would you like a critique on that? And if they say no, very good, move on, right? Hey there, Kristen Seeger. Nice to see you tonight. Glad you're here. I'm just waxing philosophical about mistakes and criticism and, why we do it to ourselves and how critiques and being self-aware it's a two-edged sword because it helps us to see the places we need to improve, but it also can hold us back by causing us fear and self-doubt and loathing. So those things are things we need to take into consideration. Why do I feel this way about my work? What am I looking at? What is my focus? Because our focus, this sounds cliche, but our focus determines our reality. Now, reality is what we have around us in our lives, right? Bills, house payments, home repair, upkeep of car, relationships, all those things, right? That's reality. But our focus determines our reality in the sense of, are we focusing on the positive or are we focusing on the negative? Or are we a little column A, a little column B, right? We recognize the negative. It allows us to improve, and it helps us to have a more positive outlook on life. So, those are just thoughts. Those are ideas. I don't really have a wrap up for that. I guess I could just keep on riffing on that, but I won't. So let's get back to working on this fella, this Frost Salamander from Wizkids from their Nolzur's line. So, Kristen Seeger, how you doing tonight? I know I said hello, and I saw you come in, and I was talking and just jibber jabbing away, so I wanted to acknowledge you. How's your painting going? How's your Death Star? How's that Star Destroyer? How's that all going for you? hopefully you are getting some satisfaction out of the progress you're making with those, because you are definitely making some good progress. So I really appreciate you sharing those pieces with me and with everybody else there in the Discord. I'm good. I'm working and some. Oh yeah, your new glasses. Oh, you're working on some Gundam until you get used to the new glasses. Okay. Okay, so big pieces, big movements. Nothing too nothing too I mean, it's detail oriented, but I mean, you're not trying to paint little tiny bits and pieces, because for those of you who don't know, Gundam do come in colored molded plastic in the correct places, so you don't necessarily have to paint them. There are ways to finish them that can be enhanced, but they are also, it's not paint color specific to have a beautifully finished Gundam. So she's taking advantage of her her situation with her glasses to do some work on a Gundam. That's pretty cool. That's a nice pivot. So again, don't get stuck in one mode of your hobby. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, right? So, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to pivot and try something else. You don't have to paint all Warhammer all the time, right? It's a master grant, so it's a good size. So yeah, that larger size probably is definitely helping you to enjoy your hobby. So we're gonna add in a little snowflock here, little woodland scenic snowflock into this foam. We're gonna mix it up. We're gonna mix it up here. And we're going to put just a little drop of, which one is lighter? The Ice Storm Blue Gray. Just one little drop in there. So, yeah, I have not had a chance to do a Gundam yet. I've got a couple to do, but I haven't built them yet. I've been too busy with all this other stuff. So, Kristen, in case you didn't know, tonight is the final stream of the year. I do take a break at the end of each year between holidays. So, what's the old song say? Everybody needs a little time away. So, I like to take a little time off. Do a few things need to be done. So I'm obviously I've painted the base. I put some gloss where the water is, and I did a little bit of a gradient for the deeper ice to the lighter ice to the top. There's a little bit of grayish white, grayish blue, and it probably reads pretty well for just an overall basic go at it. But we're going to go ahead and finish off this base. We're going to put some nice texture on it. And we're using a product called Foam Snow. I've got another bottle somewhere, but I'm using this one. So I used that. I added a couple of pinches of the Woodland Scenic Snowflock. It's just the bottle that's gone a bit yellow, but it really is white. And then I did put in a little drop of the Army Painter, what was that? Ice Storm Blue Gray color. So we're gonna put this little slurry of texture right here on the base in a few places. And I'm just going to use this sculpting tool to pick it up and put it where I want it. And we're going to let it do a little bit of texture work on there. Maybe it's kind of, maybe the snow's gotten a little blowing around there. Now I've used this on a couple of other figures before, and it kind of turned out pretty nicely. So, but since this is an Arctic figure, I'm not going to put any kind of what would you call it, tufts or anything in here. So the tufts do sell the wintertime aspect a little bit better. But I think it'll be all right. Well, it'll be all right. See, that's the one thing I don't like about multi-streaming over to YouTube is I cannot do little singy songs, you know. I can't pick that stuff up. Because their algorithm is rather robust that way. Now, the thing about it is sometimes less is more. So, I didn't mix up a whole lot here, which is fine. I want it to look like it is piled up a little bit and there's some snow drifting going on. So that little lip of snow kind of sells that a little bit better, I think, rather than just being flat and dull. So I definitely think that this is a good choice here. So I think that's pretty good right there. I'm not going to try to get too much underneath him. I think it sells itself. It's in shadow anyhow. So all right. So I think that's going to be I think that's going to do it. Now it could shrink down, maybe need another coat, but let's see how it is. Let's see how it dries. So we're going to just sit here and watch paint dry. So, for just a moment anyway. And of course, I will be posting pictures of it on the old Instagram. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you very much. I try. I try. Did you see Miar's orcs? He posted them up in the pit by accident, I think. That's some really nice work. And he did that all by brush. So this might look nice, but Miar's orcs looked absolutely fandabutastic. So yeah, he looks alright. He's no orc from Miar though. Calling you out. Accident. Yes. Oh. Oh, I'm not calling you out. Oh, I appreciate it, Miar. I try. I try. I know everybody likes my stuff, and I like doing it too, but again, it's one of those things. I look at what you got, and I look at what you got on those results, and I'm just like, wow, you know. And I like that feeling. I like that feeling of wow. But that's why this channel exists. That's why the Discord exists. That's why the Instagram exists. It's all to as an interchange of encouragement. You know, it's all to bring each other up. You know, so I appreciate it. I like to make my dudes look amazing when I paint them up. I think it looks pretty good too. Quite honestly, Miar. I agree. I enjoyed painting it, and that's really. Did I enjoy the process? That for me is really, really the the idea. Is did I enjoy the process? And I gotta say, I did enjoy the process. Absolutely. So let me see over here. I'm gonna get ready and let's see. I'm gonna get ready for the drawing here in a minute. And I always have to go and track down exactly where that is. So if you're not subscribed here on Twitch, this monthly. Let me explain how the monthly monster works, so that nobody feels left out. Because I know sometimes some things are just open to everybody in chat, but the monthly monster is a way for me to give back to people that subscribe. Now, in January, for the stream anniversary, I do have a lot of really cool things to give away, and that's kind of goes out to the chat in general. So that's great. And then of course, if I hit the 400 follower mark here, I have a copy of Warcrow to give away. I was hoping to get there earlier. What's funny is Twitch seems, I don't know if people follow, unfollow, but people will follow and then Twitch like a couple days I see that follow go away. So I've been up to 335, 337, and then it drops back down to 330. And it's just really weird the way Twitch, like, I've probably had 50 people follow since August, but their follow comes in and it goes away. So, what I'm saying is when we hit 400 follows on this channel, I have a copy of Warcrow to give away. I was hoping to get there a lot sooner. Because, you know, when you only have 65 or 70 people to go, you know, you should be able to get that in 2 or 3 months at this level. So, pass the word. Come on over. We hit 400 followers. I'll be giving away a copy of Warcrow, and we'll be doing a random out of the followers list. Okay, so that's one thing. Next month is my streamiversary, so keep an eye on the Instagram, or you could join the Discord, where I have updates for the channel. So that's thing too. So you'll know when the streamiversary happens, because I've got some really great things to give away for the streamiversary. But the monthly monster is for subscribers. It's something I give away to the subscribers. I would love to be able to paint a figure for everybody that subscribes, but it's only fair to do it randomly. You can't win 2 months in a row, so there's that. But you can win multiple. You can win multiple times. Just because you win one doesn't mean that you can never win again. You just can't win 2 months in a row. Basically, what it does is it gives everybody a chance, or it gives more people a chance. Especially when Blades81 shows up and subscribes for a month. I mean, she just automatically, it's like the algorithm loves her. So she just like wins everything all the time. Like everywhere. So anyway, that's a thing. So let's go over here and we'll get our list. Download the subscriber list. Yes. We'll open. Oh, never mind. Do this. Open that. So there is still time. If you're not a subscriber yet, you're more than welcome to become a subscriber. And I will add you to the I'll add you to the list. No pressure. I really am just glad to have you here. So even if you don't subscribe, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad you're following. I'm glad that you're joining us here in the chat. So let's go for the Wheel of Names. Wheel of Names. Wheel of Names. Woot woot. All right. So here we go. Wheel of Names. So who is still here? So we got DD Minis is in, Dollar Dylan is in, NM46 and 2 is in, and Miar Asnable is in. So let's see, we can take Blades 81's name out because she's not subscribed this month. Rescued Ruckus is not subscribed this month. So he's not in. N46 and 2 is in. DD Minis is in. I gotta. Oh, yeah. That's cool. DD Minis is in. We got DD Minis, Dollar Dylan, N46 and 2, and Miar Ajnable. So we got four people in. Is anybody else subscribed? Yes. So I'll give you if you want to subscribe, if you think you want to get in on this drawing and you want to subscribe for the channel for the next month, and of course, as long as your subscription is up. So if you had your subscription start now, you would have a chance this month, and you would have a chance next month. You know, as long as I got my, as long as I got the monthly monster painted within the period of your subscription. So if your subscription expires before I get things painted, then you're out. But if you get in, so give you about 30 seconds to make up your mind. If you're out there and you haven't subscribed yet and you want to, you think you'd like to, but I'm going to guess probably not. So I'll give you about 30 seconds. Well, 15 seconds now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right, Wheel of Names. We are spinning. Here we go. Who wins the monthly monster this month? Dollar, no. Yeah, is it going? Is it still going? Dollar Dylan. All right. Dollar Dylan has won the monthly monster. All right, no harm, Kristen. There's always next month. So, but Miara's in. So, Dollar Dylan got this month's monthly monster. So he got the cavern troll from a couple of months ago. I think that was the September. Anyway, so Dollar Dylan, you have won this month's monthly monster. Congratulations. All right, very cool. Yeah, so no pressure, but I'm glad that if you think of it, if you're able to, that's fine. Would have donated again. See, Miar likes to buy other people's subscriptions too, so that's always nice. So if you do have a subscription and you want to help out other people, give them a chance to get a finely hand-painted miniature, you're always welcome to gift subscriptions as well. So definitely give that a thought too. So it is a good time of the year for giving gifts, although it is also a good time of the year for financial distress. That's one of the reasons I don't care much for holiday times. There's a lot of stress. I like to give gifts to my friends, but I don't like to be told that I have to do it at a certain time of the year. If I see something that makes me think of a friend of mine, I usually pick it up and I take it with them and I give it to them. Sometimes I will even put it in a nice gift bag. The idea of having to do things, must do this, you have to do this, because it's tradition, it wrangles me. But let's not get into that. That's a little on the negative side. So we're not going to be negative. So anyway, the Frost Salamander is going to be going to Dollar Dylan. Congratulations, Dollar Dylan, on having another beastie on your shelf and in your game box to play with. So, all right. Well, like I've always said, if we're done, we'll be done. So tonight, we may be finishing up just a little bit early, which is fine because I've got things I've got to do. So, let's see. Let's go ahead and, if everybody is fine with cutting it short a little bit tonight, like I said, I've got some things I got to get done tonight as well. So we finished that up. So we're not using the full 4 hours. I apologize. But at the same time, who wants to sit around and watch paint dry for 4 hours? What are you, crazy? Well, so anyhow, so let's go ahead and we will raid out. I'm going to say goodnight to YouTube. And as I always say in my goodnight statement, no matter how bad today might have been, the sun is coming up tomorrow, and the world is a better place with you in it. So good night to YouTube, and we're going to go raid out on Twitch.